King Charles expressed his heartfelt appreciation for the armed forces today as he presented new standards and colors during the first such presentation at which all three services of the forces were represented. The Royal Navy, the Life Guards of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment, the King's Company of the Grenadier Guards and the King's Colour Squadron of the Royal Air Force were all recipients at the ceremony. Charles wore his ceremonial frock coat and sword, while the Queen Consort, who is Colonel of the Grenadier Guards, dressed all in red in a coat dress by Fiona Clare and a striking beret by Philip Tracy. During today's proceedings, the monarch noted it had been some 85 years since a king's colour had been presented. He also paid tribute to the 70th reign of his mother the late Queen. He added, "On such a special occasion, I particularly wanted to express my heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you, as representatives from the three services, for your loyal service over the course of her remarkable reign, to the late Queen who, I know, held you all in such high regard." During his address, the King also expressed his admiration for the armed forces, saying, "Throughout centuries of distinguished service, to this nation and to the Crown, your predecessors, and now you yourselves, have defended these and other shores. Through your diligence, professionalism and courage you have kept our people safe. No task confronting you is too challenging or dangerous. Your loyalty and devotion to the service you represent and to your colors are the hallmark of the gallantry and selflessness you display on our behalf. The intense pride I feel in all you represent and stand for is second to none and, as your sovereign, I can only assure you of my profound gratitude." Pomp was the order of the day, as the King's arrival in the quadrangle of Buckingham Palace was announced by a fanfare by the state trumpeters of the Household Cavalry. Upon his arrival, he received a royal salute from the Life Guards of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment. The new standard of the Life Guards was consecrated by the Chaplain General, before being presented by the King to the regiment. After this presentation, Charles was joined by the Queen Consort on the north lawn of the palace garden. Camilla took over her role as Colonel of the Grenadier Guards, whose troops are famous for wearing bearskin hats on ceremonial duties, from Prince Andrew in December 2022. On the lawn, personnel from the Royal Navy, the King's Company of the Grenadier Guards and the King's Colour Squadron of the Royal Air Force were assembled, alongside His Majesty's Royal Marines Band and the Band of the Royal Air Force Regiment. When Charles and Camilla arrived together, accompanied by the Chief of the Defence Staff, they were met by a royal salute and the national anthem. The three colours were blessed by the three service chaplains, in the presence of the First Sea Lord, the Regimental Lieutenant Colonel of the Grenadier Guards, and the Chief of the Air Staff. After the King presented the new colours, he and Camilla received a final royal salute before the parade marched off. They then briefly met guests who watched the ceremony before heading back into the palace. The event, which was the first colors presentation at which all three services of the armed forces were represented, lasted around 45 minutes. Referencing the representatives from all three areas of the forces in his speech, the king said, "Our sailors, soldiers, airmen and women continue to be drawn from practically every city, town and village across the 4 nations of the United Kingdom, thus forming the backbone of our armed forces." Throughout countless generations, exceptionally talented men and women have emerged to provide inspired leadership, motivation and the collective memory of our fighting services. And whilst the demands on our servicemen and women remain relentless and commitments multifarious, you continue to maintain a high-class reputation and set the standard globally within the profession of arms. Whilst I appreciate this comes at some cost to you, but more so your loved ones, it is this high regard in which you are held that is such an incomparable asset to this country. He also referenced his own military association, having trained, and served, in both the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force, and making some close affiliations over the course of the last 47 years as Colonel-in-Chief of multiple regiments within the British Army. The King added, "My wife joins me in thanking you for your continued service and commitment, and your families, for their tremendous, unwavering support." The colours will be carried on parade during the coronation on May 6, which the monarch said he was very much looking forward to. The arrival of their Majesties on the dais, accompanied by the Chief of the Defence Staff, was met by a royal salute and the national anthem. The three colours were blessed by the 3 service chaplains, in the presence of the First Sea Lord, the Regimental Lieutenant Colonel of the Grenadier Guards, and the Chief of the Air Staff. The King then presented the new colours, before returning to the dais. Following the presentations, their Majesties received a final royal salute before the parade marched off. While colours are renewed every 10 to 12 years, the King's Company colour, the royal standard of the Grenadier Guards, is the personal gift of the sovereign, presented only once in each reign, and is laid at the feet of sovereigns who have died, upon their catafalques. The palace said the term colours appears to have come into regular usage in the late 16th century, when they were used as rallying points on the battlefield, helping troops locate each other and avoid becoming disorientated during the fog of war.